If you're anything like me, then this time of year, December, going into the new year, is a very special time of year for you. Now, it's important to mention that this is obviously an arbitrary number and calendar system. There isn't anything inherently special about December and moving into the new year. It could be any day. It could be any day of the year. But it's a thing that everybody in the world agrees on, that we're going to take time off, we're going to spend time with our families, which means that there's no noise. Everything begins to quieten down. You've got time to reflect. You have time to think. And more importantly, you have time to plan. So in this video, what I want to do is talk you through what is right now my 2026 goals, because this year my goals are very different to what they've been in years gone by. If you're new around here, hello, my name is Oliver Whitehouse. To date, I'm over 5 years deep in the game with the ambition of growing a world-class video production company. I've worked on projects all over the UK and internationally, including the US and the UAE. And I also think it's important to mention I have nothing to sell you. There's no goal here. All I want to do is give you the knowledge that I now have but did need 5 years ago, in the hopes that if you have similar ambitions, it helps you accelerate in that journey. So let's get into the video. So I want to start by kind of giving you an overview of the business, because even though video production has always been the main thing that the main service that we've offered, the main thing that we focused on, it's always had these kind of tangential offshoots. So we started out as kind of a creative agency. I officially am trained in graphic design, but video and photography has always been my passion. So I started off offering video, photography, web design, branding, social media, all of that sort of stuff. That then kind of morphed into a video and social media agency where I was trying to pick up a lot of retainers. Hated the world of social media. So then we started adding in like paid ads and lead generation into our service offering as well. That was fine, but I ended up spending more time at the desk than I did on shoots, which didn't work for me. And also the revenue was super inconsistent in terms of kind of picking up clients, and the service delivery was totally off, if I'm being honest with you. I just didn't know how to offer that as a service. And we brought in contractors and we brought in people, but ultimately it just didn't work. We then kind of moved into info product and selling like a small ticket course, which worked for a little bit, but ultimately left me in the same situation whereby I was just at the desk the entire time. I wasn't really enjoying my professional life. I didn't really love what I was doing, even though I was working with cool people and cool clients. And that then brought me to May 2024. So over 18 months ago at this point, where I finally decided that out of all of these years, that video is the thing that I love to do, the thing that I'm passionate about, and ultimately the thing that I wanted to do long term. Now, I say that because every single year, that's over the past 5 years, right? So every single year that I've been through this new year planning, goal setting process, I've always focused on revenue numbers, right? So I want to get to X amount by the end of next year, or I want to have X amount of leads, or X amount of good fits, or, sales conversion rate at 30, 40, 50%, whatever, right? It's always been these kind of, these hard numbers that I was focusing on. But this is really the first year that I'm going into 2026 without a number in mind, right? Without a fixed kind of number that we're trying to hit, because really what we need to do in 2026 is just do more of the same, right? I think that the biggest lesson that I've learned this year is that if you're having fun and you're passionate about what you do, and you're kind to the people that you work with, and you treat people with compassion and put people over profit, right? Like, things grow naturally. There's this like energy that you're putting out into the world, not to get too like mystical here, but like there's this energy that you're putting out into the world of ease and grace and play. And I think that is such a better position, emotional position to operate from, than kind of forcing your way to 40, 50, 60, whatever it might be that you're looking to get to per month. So with all of that being said and all that context being laid out for you, my goals for 2026 are very different. They are to connect more with my faith and philosophy, right? Having more depth, having more presence, having more meaning to the day-to-day operations, and not just business, right? In my personal life as well. I want to continue to develop protocols and systems for my physical health and my mental health, right? For both on and off of shoots. I think that that's one thing that I've really noticed this year, is that it's super important to stay as consistent as possible when you're on the road, right? Because otherwise you just play this like peak and trough game where you get back home and you start doing the things that you know you need to do, and then you go back up, and then like 2 weeks later you're on a week-long shoot, and then that goes straight back down in the gutter again. So it's important to develop like a more consistent protocol for health and well-being, both at home and then also whilst I'm on shoots as well. I am looking to bring in a dedicated production coordinator and senior editor. I'm going to do it in that order. So I'm going to get rid of the operations and client fulfillment in terms of like the emails and the planning and the logistics and all of that sort of stuff. And then after that, we're going to look to take on a senior editor as well. So essentially, nearly apart from going on shoots, removing myself entirely from the actual client delivery and production process, which will be super interesting for sure. We're going to go way harder on inbound marketing, right? I'm tired of the DMs. I'm tired of the emails. We've been working on some stuff in the background with my mentor, which is super exciting. And I want to get that released. I want to get that out there into the world and begin to compound an inbound marketing system over time, right? Build up the email list, build up the socials, get in the brains and get in the minds of my prospects so that when something does come up and they do have an event, and this is a long-term play, right? This is a super long-term play, which is kind of where we're morphing into. But yeah, kind of no more. Well, we'll still do outbound, right? But like the point being is that like outbound is very quick. It's just like message yes or no, call yes or no, sale yes or no. Like it's super simple. Whereas an inbound system is kind of harder to track, but way more leverage over the long period, which is what we're focusing on for next year. And then, like I said, like we've been working on some stuff in the background to do with this inbound system, and I'm really excited to release it. I think that it's got heart, it's got feel, like it feels like us, and I think that in removing myself from the production process will allow me to focus even more on the inbound marketing, which will then just begin to flywheel, right? And I think it's important to mention as well that like this hiring process is a chicken and egg situation, right? Like you want to feel comfortable enough with the level of revenue and consistency of revenue that you've got to be able to afford to pay these people. We've built up a nice cash buffer this year, so we can afford to pay these people, but I don't want to be paying out of a buffer that I've built up, right? Because that's, then you're at the end of the 12 months, you're just fucked again. But the point being is that like, it's not going to grow unless I can remove myself from the 80% of tasks that are kind of taking up my week, which is the operations, which is the client management, which is the editing, which is the delivery, all of that sort of stuff. So I think that it's all well and good looking at revenue and numbers and appointments and sales, like I mentioned at the start of the video, but those are outputs, right? And I think that what more people need to focus on when they go through this planning process is focus on inputs, right? Focus on the actions that you need to take that are going to get you to the results that you are looking for. Because a lot of people say, oh, I want to get fit and healthy this year. But what they don't do is go a layer deeper and say, well, I need to be eating 2,500 calories a day with X grams of protein compared to my body weight. And going to the gym 4 times a week. And I know that I won't be able to go to the gym when I'm out on shoot. So what's like a workout that I could do in a hotel room, or I need to go on longer walks, or like, do you know what I'm saying? Like those are the inputs. The output is being fit and healthy. And a lot of people put the outputs on the pedestal without focusing on the inputs. So that's what I would encourage you to do, is basically just go a layer deeper and look at the actions that you need to take in order to get the results that you're looking for in 2026. That's everything I've got to say. Feel free to check out the rest of the videos on the channel. I hope that you've had a fantastic year, and I'm looking forward to seeing you back on the channel in 2026. Goodbye.